You just finished eating. You are not hungry. And yet, a few minutes from now, you will go looking for something more. We have 100 names for this. A sweet tooth. A lack of willpower. A failure of discipline. It is the second helping you did not plan. The handful taken on the way past the bowl. But notice that it is not really about hunger. You can be full and still feel the quiet pull toward the kitchen, toward the light of the open larder. You are not greedy, and you are not failing. You are running very old machinery in a world it was never built for. The pull is far older than any kitchen. It is older than bread, older than the farm, older than the first cooking fire. To understand it, picture one of your ancestors walking a wide plain 100,000 years ago, looking for the next meal. For almost all of human history, food was not a choice. It was a problem that never went away. Each day began with the same question, and the only answers were written in tracks, in a tuft of fur caught on a thorn. Some days there was a kill. A herd brought down, meat enough for everyone, and a night of plenty. When a hunt finally succeeded, it was not a meal. It was a festival, a rare and total abundance that might not return for weeks. But those days were rare. More often, a small band shared what little they had found and lay down still wanting. Hunger was never the enemy. It was the engine that drove the whole restless search, dawn after dawn. To eat at all could mean days of tracking, of patience, of coming home with nothing. And far more often the hunt failed, and the day ended in tired silence around a cold hearth. In the worst of the cold, they ate bark and bitter roots, and were grateful for anything at all. There was hunger, and walking, and the long hope of something tomorrow. Some days the search led only onward, the band of few dark specks crossing a vast and indifferent land. And now and then, rarely, there was treasure. Ripe fruit heavy on a branch. A comb of wild honey. The fat of a fresh kill. A single bush of ripe berries, found by a child, could keep a whole family alive another week. These were the richest things in the whole world. Sugar and fat. Pure energy, almost never found. The first taste of ripe fruit after a hungry week was not a small pleasure. It was salvation, and the body remembered it that way. Sweetness meant ripe, and ripe meant safe. The tongue was a faithful map of what would keep you alive. So the body learned a ruthless and faithful rule. When you find them, eat all you can. Eat past full, because tomorrow it will be gone. For the world ran in a long rhythm of plenty and want. A short season of fruit, and a long season of nothing. So in the brief green weeks of plenty, every hand gathered without rest, storing the summer against the certain winter. And the lean season always came. The cold months, the empty land, the slow counting of what little was stored. Many did not live to see the spring. The lean season was a sieve, and it kept only the well-prepared. The ones who lived through it were the ones who had eaten well while they could, and carried the surplus on their own bodies. That was not failure then. It was a larder you could carry, a wealth measured in the months it could outlast. Your body, even now, is built for that vanished world. It stores. It saves. It braces for an empty season that no longer comes. Scientists have a name for this old inheritance. In 1962, a geneticist, James Neal, called it the thrifty gene. But you do not need the name to know the thing. It is the part of you that cannot bear to watch good food go to waste. It is the part that feels a full larder as safety and an empty shelf as a quiet kind of fear. That instinct still speaks to you in the old language of the body. When your stomach empties, it sends up a single hungry signal. It reaches the brain and lights a small, ancient fire. Find food. Find it now. For your ancestor, that fire was wisdom. It drove them up at first light to forage, and it kept them alive. For most of history, enough was a real place. You could arrive at it and stop. And when they had eaten enough, a second, quieter signal would answer and let them rest. Hunger when empty, peace when full. For 100,000 years, the signals and the world agreed. And then, in the blink of an eye, the world changed. And the signals did not. Look at the world that ancient hunger now wakes in. No winter is coming here. No bush will ever go bare. The harvest has been made permanent. The lean season never comes. The shelves are always full. The fruit never runs out, and it is sweeter than any fruit that ever grew wild. And the food is no longer simply found. It is designed. Now it arrives in an instant, warm and wrapped, asking nothing of you, not even the walk to go and find it. It is grown, refined, and tuned, until it strikes a target nothing in nature ever could. We did not only grow more food. We learned to concentrate it, to refine its sugar and its fat far past anything in nature. A researcher named Howard Moskowitz spent years on a single question. What exact balance of sweet, salt, and fat would make a food impossible to put down? The answer even has a name: the bliss point, and it never asks you to stop. The end of one bite is built to be the beginning of the next. The target your ancestors reached a few times a year is now struck 1,000 times a day, with no off switch. Food is no longer made only to feed you. It is made to seize you and to bring you back. The quiet signal that once said enough still speaks. But it arrives too late, after the meal is already gone. The famine your body is forever bracing for will never arrive. But the body does not know that. So you eat past the old signal, past the point your ancestors would have risen and walked away, and still the wanting hums on. So it keeps giving the old command: store, save, eat for the winter. And the winter never comes. And the endless feast is often eaten alone now, in a cold and flickering glow, with no fire and no faces near. This is not a flaw in your character. It is a mismatch between a very old animal and a very new world. So when you reach for more, although you are full, understand what is happening. You are not weak. You are obeying a law written across 100,000 hungry years by every ancestor who lived, because they could not stop eating when food was near. Every one of them was hungry, and every one survived by answering that hunger without hesitation. Your body is not broken. It is a masterpiece of survival. It is only too good at a job the world stopped asking of it. The hunger is the ancient, honest thing. The endless feast is the new and strange one. The feast is not your home. You are only passing through it, carrying a body made for somewhere leaner. You are an old animal, shaped by famine, set loose in a harvest that never ends. If your own hunger looks a little stranger to you now, even for a moment, then you and I are after the same thing. This channel studies the ancient animal you still are, one quiet hunger at a time. Subscribe, and I will see you over the next rise. And if you want to follow the science, the names are waiting in the description below. Neil, Moskowitz, and the old machine that still runs you.